The language of the poor. Michael McLean, BadAssBrotherhood.com. Rain or shine, the show goes on. A few drops of liquid sunshine this morning. Nothing that stops any badass millionaire on their mission to get 1% better every single day. Nothing that would stop a badass millionaire from driving to become the best version of themselves every single day. So, language of the poor. I have a pro tip for you today that I think you're going to find very, very helpful. I learned it years ago when I was coaching professional hockey. I was actually the assistant coach for a year, something that I'm not very good at. And this particular head coach taught me this. It was actually one of our team rules, and it's one of the most powerful concepts that I've ever implemented in my own life, in my daughter's life now, in my players' lives, and the men that I coach privately in my masterminds, in my world building programs. And I write more about it. I'll be writing more about it in my brand new newsletter, which is launching on August 1st. You can get more information about my new paper and ink 12-page newsletter at BadAssLetter.com. So, language of the poor. Test this in your life, in your vocabulary. How you speak to yourself is absolutely critical. Most people have no idea of how they actually talk to themselves on a daily basis. Most businessmen have no idea how negatively they talk to themselves hour after hour, day after day, week after week, month after month. It's incredible how poor most businessmen, most husbands, most fathers' self-talk is. It's absolutely crippling, debilitating. I mean, it's the language of the poor. Poor mentally, poor physically, and poor financially. So here's a pro tip to help to clean up your language, to starve one of the most, to starve one of the most destructive words in the human language out of your vocabulary for good. So here's the pro tip. Instead of ever saying the word can't, replace can't with won't. Replace can't with won't. So let me give you some real life badass examples of how I've used this to clean up my language and to stop speaking to myself like I'm poor mentally, physically, financially. So a couple examples. A person will say, one of my book readers will say, well, Michael, I can't walk. I got bad knees, I'm overweight, I'm not in good shape, I'm awaiting surgery, I can't walk. Replace that with, I won't walk. Tell yourself, state it out loud, say it to your secret weapon wife. This is how you talk to your children now. I won't walk. Cut the bullshit, wise up, man up, and replace can't with won't. I won't walk. That's accurate. That's accurate. You're now no longer bullshitting yourself. You're no longer lying to yourself. You simply won't walk. You won't exercise. You won't make the time. You won't make the effort. And your health is not a priority. You won't move every day. You won't walk, you won't run, you won't exercise, you won't do it. Now, progress all starts with the truth. Now we're making headway at least. Well, Michael, I can't read. I can't sit and read. I don't like books. I've never been a reader. I don't really have the time to read. I just can't read. I don't have the attention span. I've always got to be moving. I'm not a reader. I replace can't with won't. Michael, I won't read. I won't read. It's not a priority. I don't believe in investing in my mental health. I don't believe in learning new things. I have a scarcity mindset. I'm not really committed to growing 1% each day. Leaders are readers, but I'm not. I'm not willing to be a leader. I won't be a leader. So I won't read instead of the BS, I can't read. You can read. You can read every day for 10 minutes, for 15 minutes, for 30 minutes as you rebuild your destroyed attention span. You can read, but you choose not to read. You choose not to invest in books. You choose not to block out time. You choose to spend your time immersed in your cell phone, on social media, whatever you want to call it. But it's not that you can't read. Tell yourself the truth. I won't read. Makes a totally different message. Now we're getting down to the brass tacks. Thirdly, another example. I can't schedule date nights with my work. With my wife's schedule. I can't really schedule date nights. They don't work for me. We just have to do it when we can. I can't schedule date nights. I won't schedule date nights. It's not a priority, no matter what I say. I don't care enough about my relationship with my secret weapon, wife. I don't care enough about my relationship with my marriage to invest the time and energy to make this happen. In other words, I won't schedule weekly date nights. I won't schedule weekly date nights. Clifford, come on, buddy. Come. I won't schedule weekly date nights. Now, you're no longer lying to yourself. You're no longer telling yourself this lie that you really care about your marriage, because your thinking and your behavior say that you don't. It's all on what you say, not on what we're doing. Let's try a few more of these. Michael, I can't copyright. I can't write every day. It's just something I haven't been able to do. I can't write every day. I mean, it's easy for you to sit down and set your timer and write for 60 minutes a day, but I just can't. I sit down and I don't know what to write about, and I put my fingers on the keyboard, and I got writer's block, and I can't do it. I can't write. Replace can't with won't. I won't write. I won't write every day. In other words, I don't care, okay? I don't care about growing my business enough to institute this daily discipline. I don't care about doing the number one thing that in my business that will grow it, bring me money, and develop wealth and equity and a future safe harbor position for my family. I simply won't. I won't copyright for 10 minutes a day. I won't sit down at my computer for 10 minutes a day. I won't shut off my cell phone and block out all these distractions for 10, 15 minutes a day. I won't write every day. One last one here. One last one here before I have to go. Let me see. There's lots of them. Come here, buddy. Come here. Come here. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. I won't. Okay. There's millions of them. But there you go in terms of starving negative words out of your vocabulary. The great Dr. Maltz, Cybogenics, one of the greatest books of all time, one that I read and reread every single year, said it best. He said, you know, our life, our mind, we have a mind movie. We have a movie that's playing in our head 24/7 a day. And whatever that movie is playing in our head dictates our life, where we're going, where we'll end up. It can be a positive movie, a negative movie, a can-do movie, a can't movie, whatever it is. But how you speak to yourself, the words that you use to talk to yourself are absolutely critical to you building your own world. You can't build a badass world of autonomy, control, independence, personal sovereignty if you talk to yourself with words like can't all the time. See, won't is taking responsibility. Won't is a badass word. Won't wakes you up, smartens you up, and teaches you to get better. And you start telling yourself the truth instead of this constant lying with yourself. I can't do this, I can't do this. And take it one step further, as a badass, we have a couple of words in our family that are swear words, and I'll share with two of them. We have a couple of swear words. My daughter Emery's 9 years old, and I got this idea from Nick Saban in Alabama with the Crimson Tide. Two words, and there's more, but in our family, and we make this fun, can't is a swear word. Anytime Krista, myself, or Emery use that word and somebody's standing by, it's like we say right away, can't? You mean you won't. And it doesn't apply to absolutely every single thing. There is a certain can't that does apply, but it's a funny exercise that audits your language, how you're speaking to yourself. And you should be doing this with your spouse and with your children. Get that fucking word out of your world. Get it out of your world. I don't want my subconscious to ever hear that word again. Ever. So we make a game of it. We gamify it. Yeah, I don't know. I can't go on vacation. Hey, Daddy, you mean you won't? Or, you know, I can't coach hockey this season. I'm busy. You mean you won't coach hockey? And it's fun, and we hold each other accountable. Emery calls me out, Krista calls me out, and I call them out, and it's fun. A second word, just for your interest, is tired is another swear word. We never, ever say tired. When I owned the Blue Wings, my hockey team, my Barclay Cup champion, Perth Blue Wings, one of the words that was a swear word in the locker room or around the team was tired. I would work their asses 2 hours, you know, on ice, off ice. We were the best mentally and physically conditioned team in the country. And when we were working out, whether it was in the weight room or outside doing, you know, land training or skating for 2 hours endlessly on a Wednesday night, nobody's tired. There was no one knees, there was no leaning on the boards, there was no whining, complaining, or excuses, and there was nobody using the word tired. I didn't want my athletes to ever speak that language of the poor to their brain. Why would I want one of my athletes telling themselves that they're tired? Why would you ever want your children, your wife, or yourself telling themselves that they can't do something? We're in control of the language that we speak, but only if you take control, only if you audit your language. I can guarantee that you have a lot of words in your language that need to be starved out of there. Call them self-limiting beliefs, call them language of the poor. Financially, you probably have words when it comes to money that need to go, health, fitness, marriage, success. Get rid of it. Wise up, cut the BS, and starve those negative words. Poison. They're rat poison. Like Coach Saban says, can't is rat poison. Tired is rat poison. And replace, in this case, the word can't with won't. And wake yourself up and make a difference. So that's it for today, language of the poor. If you like these videos that I shoot on my broken iPhone 7, you can subscribe below and leave a comment. I'm also launching a brand new newsletter. Unlike any other newsletter, it's paper and ink. I FedEx it to you once a month. It's 12 pages, but if you know me, 12 pages become 16 pages, and 16 pages sometimes become 20 pages. I can't stop. So I'm studying 5 hours a day, 4 hours a day, reading 52 books a year, magazines, podcasts, newsletters, and I boil this all down for you, the best of the best, so that you can 25x your world in the next year. 25x your marriage, your relationship with your kids, your physical and mental health, your profits, your wealth, 25x. And you can subscribe to my newsletter and get more information at badassletter.com. It's expensive on purpose. It's $97 a month. I don't want any bargain hunters or freebie seekers. I don't want any amateurs or newbies. I want businessmen that are serious students, readers, have an attention span, can learn, and want to be told the truth. You can subscribe and get some nice bonuses like one of these free shirts, a copy of my old insurance book, the actual book, mail and fax access to me. Plus we have a forum, not Facebook, not fake book, a real locker room world building forum that Marc Andre has created, plus lots of discounts on future things. So the place to be is part of my Michael McLean World Building Letter membership. When you're a member there, you're somebody in this tribe. So please go to badassletter.com now and subscribe. So look at that, barely any rain, not another single human being out here, because they'd look out their window and they would say, good God, it's raining. It's the start that stops most, isn't it? It's the start that stops most. Little bit of snow on a morning in December and my hockey program with my little kids, and I'm missing a third of the kids. Unfortunately, 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, 9-year-olds can't drive. Any snow, any rain, any heat now, school's canceled. Any adversity, we're teaching our children that they can't do hard things. So as a father, make sure you're introducing, I call it manufactured adversity, into your child's life, where you literally make things hard on purpose. You're not some lunatic, but make things hard. Make your kids into workers. Make sure your kids have chores. Make sure your kids are held accountable. Make sure your kids understand that winners aren't losers and losers aren't winners. Make sure your kids show up no matter what, whether it's cold, hot, whether they feel good, whether they don't feel good. Make sure they show up and finish the job. And they'll have no competition, by the way. Teach your teenagers and your children that. And in today's world, your kids will be the CEO of their world. They will be the CEO of their world. I'm going to talk a lot more about this in my upcoming August edition of my Michael McLean World Building Letter. That's it for today. Do what we do. Make sure before the sun sets that you tell your wife and your children that you love them and how much they mean to you. And make sure that this is a daily habit, that you're always telling the people that are most important to you that you love them and that you respect them and that you've got their back and that you're there for them. They need to know that you're there to protect them. They don't need to agree with you. They don't need to be, you don't need to be best friends with your children and your teenagers and your adult children. They just need to know that you have their back. They need to know that dad is their ally, and they need to know that they can come to you with anything, that the door is always open. Remember, there's a last time for everything. Our greatest blessings are right in front of us, in the kitchen, at the family table, at 6 o'clock dinner, sitting down and relaxing. Make sure when you're at dinner, you're mentally at dinner. When you're out for a walk with your wife, make sure you're out for a walk with your wife. A badass millionaire is always mentally present. A badass millionaire world builder always has both feet in today. If I'm writing, I'm writing. If I'm walking, I'm walking. If I'm shooting a video, I'm shooting a video. If I'm out with my daughter fishing, I'm out with my daughter fishing. If I'm playing tennis, I'm playing tennis. If I'm sleeping, I'm sleeping. If I'm eating, I'm eating. I do one thing at a time, fully present. So make sure that you understand that the most important, all we need is in front of us, a loving partner and great healthy children. If our children are healthy and our wives are healthy, if our family is healthy, what other motivation do we need to be the best version of ourselves? Are you kidding me? Like I think about it every single day. Like what would happen if they were gone? What would happen if my wife wasn't here? What would happen if my daughter wasn't here? So every day I count my blessings. I thank my Creator for bringing these people into my life. My daughter is the greatest blessing in my world. My wife is my best friend and ultimate ally. Krista is my ride or die partner in this world. She actually makes me feel less alone in this world. As an entrepreneur, as a businessman like you, you're alone. You're alone. You don't have anything in common with 99% of the people that walk this planet. So your best friend and your spouse can be your ride-along partner for life if you include them in things, if you share things, if you talk about money, if you talk about your marketing, if you talk about the stuff you're learning here, if you go on date nights, if you go for long 4 or 5 mile walks on a Sunday, if you shut off your phone long enough to look around and notice the people in your life. What the fuck is in that phone that's going to change your life? What's in that goddamn phone that's going to help build your world? Nothing. Just somebody else's ridiculous agenda. That's behavior of the poor, 99%. With your face stuck in a phone or in a television or on anti-social media or listening to politics, that is the behavior of the poor. I call today's pro tip behavior of the language of the poor. Well, that stuff is the behavior of the poor. Look around and do the opposite. Look around and run the other way. You don't want that life of quiet desperation the 99% have. You don't want a life of medication, of sedation, zone, drones, and clones, and no thinking, and unhealthy and depressed. You don't want any of that. You want the opposite, so head the opposite way. That's it, Michael McLean. 2 words that change my life, 2 words that can change your life. Hey, language, this is not the language of the poor. Keep telling yourself this kind of stuff. Replace can't with won't and start telling yourself to be relentless. 2 words, be relentless.